Hello, this is a reading for Leo. Impromptu kind of zodiac updates. See what's going on for you. Just clocked you going 90 miles an hour with that moon. Do you know how fast you were going? I have a sense of being pulled over. Hey there, slow down. Four of inspiration. It's time to go home, Leo. It's time to go home. It's time to pack it up and go home. Maybe there's something of a comfort of home that'll draw you in so we don't have to pull you over. Six of voices. Go home. Go home. Get out of here. So Leo, you might be getting a few signals here and there to just go home. That you're not needed here. You're not, don't worry, we've got this. Go rest. Go do your thing. You know, we'll take it from here, Leo. Six of Voices looks to me like someone's going to take off. Like, what is that? I don't need you right now. Feels a bit sour. Also kind of like secretly a little bit comforting because maybe you've been burning the candle at both ends or... there we go. Sometimes you got to stay out of people's way. Good thing you have a solid base at home. If that resonates with you, then there's definitely a message about letting people come to you when they're ready. It's like not about you right now. Something like that. It's just kind of, even in your own home, there's like maybe some people who just don't need you right now. I'll call you when I need you. Kind of feel. Page of Voices. You might be tempted to see that on a pretty superficial level. It's like, oh, you don't need me? Maybe people exerting their unique brand of control over a situation. Or a little bit more like people just needing to give themselves the space and the time to do the things they need to do. Leo's energy has been more than enough. It's okay to see the superficial level of that, is what I'm getting. It's okay to just relax, go home, and see that you might not. There's something like that is a superficial way of explaining it. That they don't need you, that they don't, that situations don't need you right now, that people don't need you right now, that, people need to give themselves time, or it's fair that people don't always have time for you, that kind of stuff. Those are kind of superficial explanations. They don't exactly describe it properly. It's a lot more complicated than that. It's not that they don't need you. It's not that sometimes it's not about you. But those kind of overarching superficial definitions of things can kind of smooth things over in a minute. Where it seems like there's a guidance to just see that for what it is. even if you're getting those literal messages, or even if you're getting something that could quite reasonably be interpreted as "I don't need you right now," or "It's not all about you," that kind of stuff, it'd be like, it's not about you at all. It would be like, those are kind of superficial, you know? Those are pretty disconnected. So see them for what they are, you know? You can hear those messages and take their cues, and you don't have to buy into the idea that that's all there is to it. And there's a comfort in that. Take things lightly. Someone's trying to communicate a cue to you with few words, or it's like somebody's making sure that you get some rest. Somebody's deciding to go about something on their own. There's already more to that than what the initial things can say. Can we say that maybe you're witnessing something that you don't have to understand in order to buy into? Trust the guidance around you? Isn't it true that you could use a little bit of a break? Ooh, my stomach is just turning. 6 of emotions, Queen of emotions. So water sign here, but we're seeing fire signs pairing up with air signs. Go where people are fanning your flames. Somebody's maybe been very short with you, or maybe dismissive of you. This is like dismissive. And I'm seeing this idea that if, you know, Queen of emotions is the state of empathy, that anybody with a bit of empathy would hear their own words and recognize what they've said. There's something here like 6 of emotions, you know, people like to say that they want to do something on their own, but as soon as they're out on their own, they have an understanding that that's what they asked for. And I don't think it's going to last. I don't think there's going to be this kind of pushing you away or pushing you into taking a rest or having a seat or, you know, sidelining you. Oh, let's not get into the word friend zone, because that is not a good word. You're not being friend zoned. That's what dude bros say when they're trying to force things. Don't say that word. Trust that you have influenced things more than you could know. The Knight of Inspiration. You know, people need you when they need you, and you're so fiery that, you know, the Hierophant, or, you know, I'll put it generally, like, this isn't literal, but like, you know, water signs, earth signs, they might be telling you, like, I don't need you right now. There would be something like, but when they do, it's going to come fast. Like, it's going to be a fast thing. People come in fast for fire signs. Maybe people don't like how hot you are. You're hot. People don't like how passionate you are sometimes. Sometimes people would kind of say, I don't need that level of passion in my life. But then all of a sudden they do, because passion comes on, or a need for it is sudden. When somebody needs something quick, when somebody needs something, all of a sudden, then they'll be back. And I just see this kind of like, is that fair to you, Leo? Is that fair? I'm seeing what might be fair is that people just need to kind of do their own thing sometimes. And they might say, I want to do this by myself. And then you can kind of reason your way through it even, or feel it. But justice is kind of pointing to reason your way through it. Whenever somebody says, I just want to be by myself, it always comes with like later recognizing that, well, it would have been nice if you were around, something like that. So they're not, they've stuck themselves in that position. That's not somebody who's going to come in and say, all of a sudden, I need you now. But this is the other side. The one, I don't need you right now. This is, I want to do things by myself. And then there's, I don't need you. I don't need you comes back quick. Oh, wait, now I do need you. Is that fair? When somebody comes back and says, I thought I wanted to do this by myself, but I kind of miss you. Okay. Leo has a soft spot maybe for something like this, but over here, this is where it's getting a bit, anybody with a little bit of empathy would be able to feel what it sounds like when somebody says, I don't need you. And if there's somebody who's telling you that they don't need you in that way, where it's just kind of like, oh, ouch. And then they come back whenever they do need you. Maybe in not so many words either, I was reading like short for words, just in this controlling way, like, I'm in charge here. I don't need you. People brushing you off. And then all of a sudden they need you again. Is that fair? I mean, it is. The Lovers. What it comes down to is a choice. The Lovers card. I'm going to end the reading on that card because it's such a lovely card to end this series of readings on. This is the last reading we're doing, so it's so great to have this Lovers card here. The difference between somebody shooing you away and somebody distancing themselves. The difference between somebody expressing that they don't need you and someone expressing that they want to take on something on their own. And what that means in terms of choice. What somebody's choosing to do. Or what, if they come back and all of a sudden, I need you now, or I miss you. This is like the energy of somebody who's coming in and out. That they only need you when they need you. And when they don't need you, they make you feel. Or there's an expression here of like, I don't need you. What are you talking about? That kind of thing. And it's like, what would it take for someone to need you again in the way that they're choosing? I don't even know how to describe this energy. It's a little bit like, it's delicate, but kind of self-evident. It's like obvious. It's so obvious that I want it to be more than it is. Kind of like the Lover's choice. Like It's so obvious which one is the loving one that I want it to be more complicated than that, but it's not. When somebody's in and out and they need you and they don't need you and they need you and they don't need you and they send you on this yo-yo ride around, this isn't love. This isn't a choice. This isn't something somebody's... it's not somebody who's trying to meet you in a choice. Because a choice isn't sometimes. And all the time, a choice to commit to love 100% of the time. This isn't an all the time thing. This is an on again, off again thing. Like, how are you supposed to follow that? How are you supposed to be comfortable in your own home with that kind of energy coming in and out? You can see that on a superficial level almost. Like, you don't need to go too deep into it in order to see what that is. That you committing to something that is in and out, on and off, on and off isn't the nature of this choice. Quite frankly and quite simply put. But I'll tell you something. I need my space. I need some space, and I miss you. Quite obviously is, committing to something like that is a little bit more like par for the course. That somebody might come back suddenly with a, you know what, I thought I wanted to do this on my own, but I actually miss you. That comes in just as fiery. That comes in just as suddenly. And it's quite obviously, we don't have to dig too deep into it to recognize that that is the choice. That's actually somebody who's gone off and recognized that they've put themselves in a position where they wanted to make the choice. Whereas somebody who's in and out and saying, I don't need you, I need you, I don't need you, I need you, there's a... Quite obviously, this is somebody who is being sporadic and the choice itself is not a sometimes thing, it's an all the time thing. You know where to put your energy, Leo. Even if it's like either way you slice it, there's somebody you're getting kind of told to go home. You're getting stay out of it. Get out of my way. I need to be alone for a bit, or I don't need you. What version of that makes you feel more comfortable in your own home to stay home? Knowing that somebody will eventually come back, they're going to miss you eventually. Or waiting for somebody to just all of a sudden need you again and then come back around when that happens. I think it's obvious. Okay, that's just my thoughts, but that's also reading cards. Thanks so much for being here, Leo. And if you want to come see us doing live readings on Twitch, you come to Tarot Lady in a Church channel. It's the same thing, all one word. Take much care. Bye.